Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. In this video we will talk about informed search algorithms in AI, and we will also see one of the very common approaches in informed search and exploration, which is the best first search. And we will talk about the first type, which is the greedy best first search, in today's video. So up till now we have seen that uninformed search strategies can find the solutions to problems by systematically generating new states and testing them against a goal. Okay, so when we are talking about uninformed searches, so it will basically expand each of the states, and the second step is to test the states against a goal state. Test the state against a goal. If it is the goal, it will backtrack to find the path to the goal and finally give us the output of the goal. Otherwise it will just be declaring it as the goal state has been reached using various strategies. Now unfortunately these strategies are incredibly inefficient in most of the cases. Okay, so basically if we are talking about uninformed searches or algorithms which follows uninformed search, it will look through the search space for all possible solutions of the problem without having any additional knowledge. So it does not have any additional knowledge apart from the states itself, okay, or apart from the search space itself. No additional knowledge is provided, and it will formulate its searches based on the current state about the current information about the current state. But in informed search strategies, if you talk about informed searches, this informed search algorithms, they will consist of an array of knowledge. Okay, now this array of knowledge might be anything. That means it might be distance from the goal, so it might be distance from the goal state, okay, or it might be the path cost. That means what is the cost from reaching from one state to the other state and how to reach. So this information, or this any one of this information, or combination of this information can be used, okay, as the array of knowledge. So all these types of knowledge, so these are basically nothing but the additional knowledge, and this additional knowledge is basically present in your informed search techniques. So instead of having just this information about the current states, informed searches will be depending upon the array of knowledge which is generated from different aspects in addition to the actual information of the search space. And this knowledge will help the agents to explore less to the search space and find more efficiently the goal state. Okay, so we do not need to go on expanding each of the nodes and then search the entire search space in order to find the goal. We can simply follow some of the efficient searches based on these information so that we can achieve the goal in a much more efficient and faster manner. And the informed search algorithm is more useful for larger search space. So if we have a large search space, so if we follow a breadth first search or depth first search or depth limited search as well as a bidirectional search or iterative deepening search, all those searches, they will not be very efficient if the search space is large. Okay, but informed search algorithms, they are specifically to design in order to handle or search for goals in larger search spaces. So this is one of the very important points which is associated with informed search algorithm. Now another important concept which is associated with informed search algorithm is that it makes use of a term which is known as heuristic. Now heuristic, if we consider it in a general term, it means estimations. Okay, so this estimations will help us in order to estimate an efficient path from the start node to the goal node, or from the node from which we are considering the search to the goal node. Okay, so it uses the idea of heuristic, and hence it is also called as the heuristic search. Most commonly informed search techniques are known as heuristic searches because we use heuristics, or we use estimations. Now we will talk about this heuristic function. Okay, so if we are considering the heuristic function, it finds the most promising path. The primary work of this heuristic function would be to generate or to find out the most efficient path in terms of cost or in terms of time. It takes the current state of the agent as its input. Okay, so it is finding the input will be the current state, and it will produce the estimation of how close the agent is from the goal. So we will have an estimation of how close the agent is from the goal, how close to the goal. So this is one of the estimates. It might have some other estimations also. Okay, the heuristic method, however, might not always give the best solution, but it is guaranteed to find a good solution. Unlike your best first search, breadth first search, we might always not get the most optimal solution, but it will give us a nearly good solution in terms of the entire search space. Okay, and that too in reasonable time. So time factor is very, very important in all the searches, because we need to find the best possible option in the lowest amount of time. So heuristic functions is guarantee using of heuristic function guarantees to find a good solution in reasonable time. As well as, the next important factor we have to remember is that it is always represented using h of n, and it calculates the cost of an optimal path between a pair of states. Now suppose I have two states, let's say A and B. Okay, so it will find out the cost of an optimal path. So cost of an optimal path from A to B. So this is what heuristic function is capable of doing. Now from A to B we might have several paths, something like this, as well as let's say something like this. So heuristic function will be responsible of finding the most optimal path, which is basically a straight line between both of these states. And also the value of the heuristic function is generally and always positive in nature. Okay, so it is always a positive value. There is no negative value. If it is a negative estimation, that means it is not the optimal, or it is not the not a very good solution. Okay, now we have to understand that the admissibility of a heuristic function. So we will talk about admissibility in my next video. So if we are considering the admissibility, so when it is beneficial or when it is usable, so admissibility of a heuristic function, so this is given by a formula, and that formula is hn is less than or equal to h star n. So when we are talking about this formula, you have to understand that hn is the heuristic cost. That means it is an estimation. Okay, so heuristic cost, and h star is the n is the estimated cost. So we will talk about this in my subsequent videos. So we will not go into more details about this, but we have to remember that heuristic cost should always be less than or equal to the estimated cost. We will see this with a small example as well. Okay, now talking about informed search strategies, one which uses problem specific knowledge beyond the problem definition itself, and it can find the solutions more efficiently than a uninformed strategy. So we have already discussed that uninformed strategy does not use any additional information. However, informed search strategies, they use heuristics in order to find out the best possible solution or a very good solution. Talking about the informed search strategies, so informed search strategies, informed search strategies are basically categorized into two different types. Okay, one is the best first search. So we have seen breadth first search or BFS. Okay, now best first search, again it has a specialized or specific algorithm which is known as greedy search, and the other one is A star search algorithm. So informed search strategy, it is broadly classified into these two types. Now pure heuristic search, if we are considering, is the simplest form of heuristic search algorithms, and it expands the nodes based on the heuristic value. And let me write it down. So if we are considering a pure heuristic search, so this is basically the simplest form of heuristic search, and it will simply expand the nodes based on simply the heuristic function, and it will maintain two lists. One is the open list and the other is the closed list. So when we will do the algorithm, we will check one by one what this open list and closed list is. For us to remember, as of now, this open list, this closed list, basically first let us discuss about this. The closed list, it places the nodes which have already been expanded, so it will consist of the visited nodes, and in the open list it will have the nodes which are not visited. Okay, so these nodes needs to be expanded, whereas these nodes are already expanded. On each iteration, each node n with the lowest heuristic value is expanded and generates all its successors, and n is placed to the closed list. Now suppose I have a node n and it has different states generated from it, and suppose this is 3 and this is 4, so this node would be evaluated first. Okay, and the successors of this node would be generated, and n will be placed in the closed list. However, this particular node will be in the open list. So this is basically how the open list and closed list is formed, and the algorithm continues until a goal state is found. So this is what is pure heuristic search, and this is how the algorithms of a pure heuristic search works. Okay, so talking about this particular first algorithm that we will be discussing today is the best first search algorithm or the greedy search algorithm. Best first search is basically something which we have, which our common sense says, but still we will be discussing this from the perspective of AI. Okay, best first search. So basically, if we are talking about the best first search algorithms, a key component of this algorithm, as already mentioned, is the heuristic function, and without heuristic function we will not be able to proceed in any of the algorithms related to informed searches. So here the heuristic function used is h of n, which is a standard way of representation, and this search will continue until it reaches the goal node. And how will we identify that the goal node has been reached, or which is the goal node? We can identify the goal node for which the h of n is equal to 0. Okay, now in order to discuss this best first search, we have to take an example of the greedy search, which is basically a type of the best first search. So greedy search, or we can simply combine this entire representation into, let's say, greedy best first search. Okay, so let us write it down in short form, which is GBFS. Okay, now when we are considering the GBFS, it always selects the path. So it will always select the path which appears best at that moment. So appears best at that moment. That means whichever is the past, whichever path is maybe closest to the node, or whichever path is having a cheaper cost, so that particular path would be selected. So it is basically a combination of the depth first search and the breadth first search, which we have already done in the uninformed search strategy, and it uses heuristic function, a function based search. Now best first search allows us to take the advantages of both the algorithms, and with the help of best first search, at each step we can choose the most promising node, and we have to understand that it will try to expand the node which is closest to the goal. So it expands the node which is closest to the goal node. Okay, goal node, how we will identify? As I already mentioned, the heuristic of that particular node has to be 0, and it evaluates the node by just using the heuristic function. Suppose we have a node n. Okay, for that particular n, the evaluation is done by simply considering the heuristic function. In this case, let us consider g as the heuristic. Okay, let's consider the same representation, hn as the heuristic function. Okay, so hn is the estimated cost from the, this is basically the estimation, right? So estimated cost from node n to goal. Please remember that hn is just the estimated value. It has nothing to do with the original value which is already there in that particular graph, or in that particular search space. Okay, now if we are talking about the GBFS algorithm, the first, let's say we will use the GBFS algorithm. So the first step will be to place the starting node into the open list. So we will place the start node into the open list. Okay, open list. So as already mentioned, we will maintain two lists, open list and closed list. Now if the open list is empty, okay, if open list is equal to empty, then we will return failure. That means if there is no node which will start the search process, it will return failure. Now after, if it is not the situation, that means it is not it is having a non-empty open list, then we will remove the node from n, remove node n from open list Okay, n is basically the first list, the start of the start node of that particular search. Okay, so we will remove the node from the open list and place it in close list. So this is the first thing we will do. And second thing is that from the open list, whichever has the lowest value of hn, we have to expand that particular node. Okay, so number 4 is to generate or expand the node n and generate the successors of node n. So generate successors of node n and place in close list, open list, so that whatever is there in the open list we can go on expanding and selecting it based on the heuristic. Okay, so this is this generation of successors of node n. This will be the fourth step. After that we have to evaluate the successors of node n and do goal test. If basically it is giving me a goal, then we have to return goal. Okay, then do goal test. Now if goal is found, then return success and terminate. Else go to 6. Okay, so what does the sixth step say? Sixth step will say that for each successor node we have to evaluate f of n, and f of n strictly is dependent on h of n, right? So we will evaluate f of n and check for its presence in open or close list, and if not in open list, then add it in open list. Okay, so if not in open list, we will add it in open list. Then again number 7 we will be returning to step 2. Now step 2 is basically the repetition or the iteration. So if it is not in open list, we will add it in open list, and after it gets incorporated in open list, we will simply be expanding that particular node and evaluate the f of n immediately. Okay, so f of n again will be depending on h of n. So this we will be understanding clearly with a particular example. Okay, so first let us consider that example so that it becomes easier for us to understand. Now I have a search space which is something like this. So I have the start node n, then I have a and b, so these are the successors. Then I have c, d, b again has e, then it has f. Okay, then e again has h, and this has I and j. Let's say j is the goal node. Okay, j is the goal node, or let me replace this j as g, so that we can identify using the initial as g. On the other hand, now this will have certain original path cost associated with it. So 3, 2, 4, 1. Let's say here we have 3, 1, 5, 2 and 3. So this was our this is our original search space, and we have A, B, C, D, E, F, then I, S and G. Okay, E, F. Okay, I missed out H, then I, S and G. And for this A, I have 12, 4, 7, 3, 8, 2, 4, 9, 13 and 0. Okay, so this is basically the node. Okay, and this is the h of n value. That means the heuristic which is associated with each of the node. What does this heuristic value mean? Heuristic value means that it is the distance between the current node and the goal node. Okay, so from A, the distance, the estimated distance or the heuristic distance from A to G is basically 12, from B to G is 4, from C to G is 7, from D to G is 3, from E to G is 8, from F to G is 2, from H to G is 4, from I to G is 9, and from S to G is 13, and from G to G, okay, from G to G the estimation is 0. So this is always the condition that from the goal node, if we want to reach goal node, the estimation or the heuristic based will always be 0. So this values has nothing to do with the original values or original cost which is there in the search space. Okay, this is just in order to confuse us and nothing else. Okay, so if we are considering this particular diagram and the algorithm of greedy best first search, so the evaluation function strictly follows h of n. That means the search will be taking place in the direction of whichever whichever value has the lowest heuristics. Okay, so now what I'll do is I will mention one open list and one closed list. Okay, as already mentioned, closed list will consider of all the non-visited of all the visited nodes, and open list will have all the visited nodes. Now initially what happens is let me consider the start node. So start node is S. Okay, so S will get inside the closed list and A and B will be in the open list because it is not visited, and S becomes visited and its successors are generated. Let me use a different color. Okay, its successors are generated, and it will since both the successors are not yet evaluated, it will simply be added inside the open list, and S, since it has already been visited, it will be inside the closed list. Now if we are considering the A and B, now the evaluation function would be carried out in A and B respectively. So just check the heuristic function. Evaluation function was this, right? So if we are considering the heuristics, from A in order to reach the goal the heuristic is 12, and from B in order to reach the goal is 4. So which is the lowest? The lowest is basically 4, B, which is 4. So we will take this direction, right? So this direction, and B will be visited now. So B will become visited now because it will choose B because it has lower heuristic value than A. So B will now be removed from the open list and it will be inside the closed list. So once it goes inside the closed list, open list will now have E and F, because B has the successors as E and F, right? So once E and F has is been placed in the open list, sorry, I will not close it. E and F is placed in the closed list. I will check for E and F evaluation functions, or I will evaluate E and F. So when I'm considering E is basically 8 and F is basically 2. So which will be now inside the closed list? F will be now inside the closed list because F has the minimum heuristic. Then what E has? E has 8 and F has 2. So 2 is less than 8. So F gets inside the closed list and becomes visited. So it takes this path. And F will now be expanded. So F, it has I and G. So I and G is there. So when it is there, I will be checked, which is 9, and G will be checked, which is 0. So 0 is less than 9. So G will now be removed from the open list and it will get inside the closed list. So finally what I am getting here is, and now this particular node will be tested whether it is the goal node or not, and it is actually the goal node. I forgot to mention that at each of this step it is checking if it is a goal node or not. Since in the last step it found that it is the goal node, so the search will terminate and it will return a success. So this point will be executed. So it will return a success once it finds that the goal node has been reached. Okay, so the final solution path would be S, B, F and G. So if you look at this particular path, so it has this choice. Okay, now this choice, it resembles that it is depending upon the heuristic value, this information which is given to us, and using this information we have reached this particular we have been able to achieve this particular path. Okay, now essentially it is not always true that this might be the best possible choice. Okay, it resembles the depth first search. If you look carefully into it, it is actually searching all the way through one particular path, and once it reaches a dead end it will revert back. Okay, it will follow a single path all the way to the goal and it will back up when it hits a dead end. Now it suffers if it resembles a depth first search, it will suffer from all the deficiencies of the depth first search. That means even if the search space is finite, it might be trapped inside a cycle, or it might if the search space is infinite, it will suffer the same problem with depth first search. It might never return with a goal, and it is not optimal and it is not complete because it can start down an infinite path and never return to other possibilities. Okay, so if we are considering this particular BFS or best first search which follows a greedy nature, okay, it is not optimal because we might have other solutions also, and it is not complete. All the depth first search problems are associated with this particular algorithm. Okay, so this is all about best first search, and also the time complexity which is associated with this particular algorithm is resembling your depth first search. So time complexity is again an issue which is big O of b to the power m, where b is the branching factor and m is the number of levels. Okay, or m is the maximum depth of the search space. You can also represent this with d, m with d, so it is the maximum depth of the search space. Okay, and also the space complexity as well, it is the same as the time complexity. This is same whatever we have done in depth first search. If you would like to refer back to the previous video, you can do so. So with a good heuristic function, now this problem can be avoided. Okay, so this problem can be avoided by using a good heuristic function. Okay, use a good heuristic function. So this is very important because everything depends upon the heuristic function, and with the help of a good heuristic function, the complexity can be reduced. Okay, we will be able to reduce the complexity significantly, and the amount of the reduction depends on particular problem and on the quality of the heuristic. We always have to remember this. So this is all about best first search and its strategy and the greedy approach that it follows. And if we are considering the greedy best first search, this will only be useful if we have a very good heuristic. If we do not have a good heuristic, we also have to consider the various other costs which is associated with the search space. Okay, and those other costs might be the cost to reach the actual cost which is used in order to reach that particular node, as well as some other parameters. So we will discuss about this in our next video when we will be doing the A star search. Okay, it will minimize the total estimated solution cost, and we will see how along with the heuristics we can also make use of other parameters like the actual cost or the cost which is mentioned in the search space already. But for today's video, we have to remember that informed search strategies, they are basically dependent upon an evaluation function which is dependent partially or completely on heuristic function, and it is a better approach as compared to the uninformed search strategies, because along with simply the generation of the successor nodes and searching the entire space, so if you look into this also, we do not have to search the entire space. What we did was we simply followed a heuristic and followed a particular path in order to reach this particular goal. Okay, so that is all for today. We will talk further on this informed search strategies in my next video. Thank you.